Hey guys, Rascal here. Welcome to another Rascal Reviews. And this time, you read that title right and saw the thumbnail. I'm going to be reviewing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And this is just in time because we have the Across the Spider-Verse movie coming out very soon at the time of this recording. So I definitely wanted to cover the first film on my channel. Now, this one might be a little hard to do because what can I say about the movie that hasn't been said already? Once again, me and Mama have covered the movie on our Paul's Animation channel, and we were trying to cover all the Spider-Man films. So there will be some thoughts there, but they may be a little different from now. So if you want to go check that out on our channel, please type in Paul's Animation Into the Spider-Verse, and you'll see it come up. So Spider-Verse is incredible. I mean, again, what can you say about this movie? It hasn't been said 1,000 times by reviewers and spoofers and commentators and superhero fans and Spider-Man fans and Stan Lee fans across the world. This is one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. And I understand that for some people that have to deal with the comic books and are not into them anymore, how a little oversaturated Spider-Verse is getting. And we'll get to that in a little bit, but excuse me. With this, I mean, the movie is near flawless. I mean, there's maybe a couple plot holes or maybe some things that could have turned out better, but as far as storytelling, animation, everything is Oscar worthy. Animation kind of started off the whole style where we call it the Spider-Verse animation. I'm going to call it the comic book animation because I know they said we got to have a term for it. We can't just keep calling it Spider-Verse, but it is started with this film. Kung Fu Panda 3 started up with the backgrounds in the comic panels, but Spider-Verse made it its own unique thing when they got to it. And yes, Kung Fu Panda 3 was before Spider-Verse, before you ask. The film's style is set the bar for like the Bad Guys and SEAL Team and the upcoming Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie, where they have this really cool 2D, 3D blended mix. And it looks like a moving comic book, especially with the backgrounds being bright and colorful and like you're watching a comic move on its own. And I seriously love the animation style. I'm going to still call it the comic book style because in case people are tired of hearing Spider-Verse, I'll call it the comic book style. The movie is about Miles Morales, who has been pretty well known in the comics. And Miles can have fans and not have fans, so it depends on how you see the character prior to seeing the movie, in case you're still new to it. Some people really like this new person taking on the Spider-Man mantle, and others thought it was kind of a cheap cop-out to not write Peter Parker anymore. Personally, I like the movie version better than the comics, but that's just me. So in here, Peter Parker exists at the same time as Miles, instead of it being another universe at this point. When Spider-Man is killed by Kingpin, Miles ends up having to step up and decides to take the mantle of Spider-Man himself, seeing that the city really needs a hero to protect it. And yes, he does get the spider bite too, but it's a lot less dramatic than what's happened with Peter. Like, they've always done the extreme close-ups, and he feels weird, and it's all weird and crazy, and then all Miles did was tap it, and it was dead. It was like really underwhelming, but hilarious at the same time. I really love that they did that. And Kingpin is opening up realities with a machine. And from there, it brings in another Peter Parker Spider-Man from another universe. Hence why we're getting the Spider-Verse. As the film goes on, more terrors are being made, and other Spider people from other realities are coming into Miles' world. And it's up to them to work together to destroy the machine and get them all back so they don't evaporate in Miles' universe forever. And like I said, they kind of took this really far in the comics, where literally just about anything they could think of could be a spider person. And to be honest with the comics, it gets a little old because there's so many different combinations, only so many people like them. It starts to feel like they're just spitting out whatever. But for the film itself, it was perfect. I ended up really loving Miles as a character. It was a character that I just thought was okay in the comics. They really went all out for us in the animation or storyline, and they came up with an actual storyline that fits for Miles, where he's not just another Peter Parker or another Spider-Man to replace this one. They actually have the others teach him how to be a Spider-Man with the powers. And it comes to a point where they have a message of anyone can wear the mask, or what makes you you is what makes you Spider-Man. So in a way, anybody could be Spider-Man if you have your own unique twist on it and still keep the values of the original Peter Parker, which I think was a great concept and idea and an answer to Miles Morales, because again, I didn't really care for him in the comic and the light novel. I really didn't like. I'm sorry, but the movie made me really love the character. They gave him an interesting story arc where, lo and behold, he wants to find out who he is. He doesn't want to be everything the parents expect him to be. He still wants to be a good kid. He wants to be a good son. He wants to do well in school, do his best, but he wants to have his own life and have the freedom to do a lot of things he wants. And what works about this is that he goes through some conflicts in here that are similar to Spider people, like losing a family member, but they have very different variations on like how they get the spider bite, what makes them want to be a hero, what moves them. Usually it's the death of a family member, if it's not an Uncle Ben, that drives them to become spider people. And for here, they got many different reasons. And it looks like for Miles right now, it's the death of one of his relatives. I won't spoil it just in case you haven't seen it, because I know you would hate that. But for the Spider people they had in here, they had Peter B. Parker, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Man Noir, Peter Porker / Spider-Ham, and Penny Parker, which is actually a pretty creative assortment of Spider people this time. So they try to hit all the notes. They had the Peter Parker one, they had the girl one, they had the animal one for the cartoon lovers, they had the Penny Parker for the anime people, Spider-Man Noir for the Nicolas Cage fans and the dark and brooding type people. It's like they had a Spider-Man for everybody, and they all fit their roles into who they're playing. And to me, I think that was a genius idea to do for this movie. And then you have Miles in the center, who is becoming his own man, his own Spider-Man. And he goes through actually an endearing character arc throughout the whole film, and it's believable. It doesn't feel like it's rushed. And of course you have the ship between Miles and Gwen, which is set up very well and is going to be explored more in the second movie, because they said they didn't want to focus so much on it that the movie loses its plot, which was a very smart move. So I can't wait to see how it plays out when it's Cillian's favorite ships in the second movie. It's probably just going to be one of the best things to watch about it. But like I said, there's so much to say about Spider-Verse. It's almost like you can't really compile it into one short video. I mean, animation, again, phenomenal. Voice acting cast, phenomenal. The storyline, fantastic. The designs, really creative. The humor is on point. There's actually a bunch of hilarious lines from everybody. And it really set the bar as a milestone for animation in general. Not just Sony, not just Spider-Man, that's for Miles. Just for animation as a whole. It has really upped its game with it. And now, I hope that the sequel can maintain that that feeling, that magic that the first one had. You could watch Spider-Verse a dozen times and never get tired of it. Not all at once, but throughout different times in your life, and it'll still have the same magic as it did the first time. Because I saw it as a rental first, and then we ended up buying it, because we had to. That was really one of the best movies we had seen. Not just for Spider-Man, but just for animation as a whole. So, you guys can tell me what you think of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in the comments below. Do you love it? Do you think it was just okay? Or do you actually really not like it at all? I want to hear all your thoughts. You can let me know in the comments below. Who was your favorite character or spider person in here? Are you looking forward to the Across the Spider-Verse sequel coming out in the summer? And just let me know everything that you want to tell me in the comments below. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.